What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope everybody's doing well out there on this dreary, rainy, blue Monday. I'm doing good myself, other than just being drowsy. I've been like this all day. I tell you, I was going through my news feed right here, and Johnson and Johnson apparently is drug dealers. From the way this story reads, you understand they've been investing money to fuel, as it says, the opioid epidemic. Okay. Now to get in the story, it says Johnson and Johnson to pay $572 million in Oklahoma's historic opioid trial. Okay. An Oklahoma judge on Monday found Johnson and Johnson and its subsidiaries helped fuel the state's opioid drug crisis. Ordered the consumer to products giant to pay $572 million to help abate the problem in the coming years. And as we know, opioids has been a big problem for these people, here in this country. But to continue, it says right here, Cleveland County District Judge Thad Balkman's ruling followed the first state opioid case to make it to trial and could help shape negotiations over roughly 1,500 similar lawsuits filed by the state. Local and tribal governments consolidated before a federal judge in Ohio. The opioid crisis has ravaged the state's Oklahoma, Bachman said before announcing the verdict. It must be abated. Abate immediately. The companies are expected to appeal the ruling to the Oklahoma Supreme Court. Bachman's full 42-page judgment can be read online here. Before Oklahoma's trial began, May 28, Oklahoma reached settlements with two other defendant groups. A $270 million deal with, OxyContin maker, Purdue Pharma, and an $85 million settlement with Israeli-owned Teva Pharmaceutical Industry, Ltd. A lot of money. But I guess, when you a big drug dealer, money like this is no problem for you. Oklahoma argued the company and their subsidiaries created a public nuisance by launching an aggressive and misleading marketing campaign that overstated how effective the drugs were for treating chronic pain and understated the risk of addiction. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter said opioid overdoses killed 4,653 people in the state from 2007 to 2017. Mike Hunter has called Johnson & Johnson a kingpin company that was motivated by greed. He specifically pointed to two former Johnson & Johnson subsidiaries, Noramco and Tasmanian Alkaloids, which produce much of the raw opium used by our manufacturers to produce the drugs. Well, it looked like to me, other than being sued and all that and pay out all that money, looked like there should be some criminal charges filed as well, to do some time. Look how many people they said died, with opioids. See? But to get back into the story, they've been the principal origins of the active pharmaceutical ingredients in prescription opioids in the country for the last 2 decades. Hunter said after the trial ended July 15, it is one of the most important elements of causation. Causation with regard to why the defendants are responsible for the epidemic in the country and in Oklahoma. Attorneys for the company have maintained they were part of a lawful and heavily regulated industry subject to strict federal oversights, including the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency and the Food and Drug Administration. Yeah, I don't even want to hear about them bastards. They worse. You want to know the shit that they okaying and going in the food. You see what I mean? They even worse. During every step of the supply chain, lead attorney Larry Ottaway said during closing arguments that opioid drugs serve a critical health need to address chronic pain that affects thousands of Oklahomans every day. This problem of untreated chronic pain afflicted people here in Oklahoma, Ottawa, Ottaway said. Oklahoma pursued the case under the state's public nuisance statute and presented the judge with a plan to abate the crisis that would cost between 12.6 billion for 20 years and 17.5 billion over 30 years. Attorneys for Johnson & Johnson have said that estimate is widely inflated. Widely inflated. Well, look like to me, like I said, it's just funny to me how they got that in depth with going after these big companies who invested, in the opioids and everything, simply because a lot of white people died, as far as I'm concerned, in the opioid crisis, and still is. But when you go back to, what was it, 30 years ago or something like that, the crack epidemic, who do we go after for that? Because we know that that was intentionally funded as well and fueled, to get into the hoods throughout America. Who do we go after for, the what was that, heroin way back in the late 60s that the Black Panthers was fighting to keep out, of what was that? I think it was Oakland. I'm not for sure, but I think it was. Who do we go after for that? But it's just mighty funny, they bringing these big corporate giants down, and making them pay money. But at least there should be some federal charges filed. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this situation. I'm interested in hearing y'all thoughts and views on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And this is James, and I'm out. Peace.